lead us in the pledge. Who wants to start us off?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Please be seated. Call our roll. Dr. O'Neill.
Present.
Mrs. Barnes-Griffin.
Present.
Mr. Irvin.
Present.
Mr. Wells.
Present.
And I am present. Mr. Peter is out of the country and absent this evening. Welcome. This evening it's going to be a foggy night, so we'll try and move with some degree of expedition through the agenda, but Southview is up, so Dr. Smotherman.
Thank you very much. We're excited to be here. I have friends who are joining me, so they'll come up at the end. So we're excited to be here. So thank you so much. We're very excited. Ms. Davis and I are very excited to share some of the changes at Southview and also talk specifically a little bit about reading and some of our reading data, which we're ready to brag on. So you'll see a chart here, but I want to talk a little bit. Sorry if we get too nerdy and too much into the data with you. You can stop me anytime, but we're so excited about some of our specific data that we wanted to share with you. I know when Mr. Ambler was here in the fall, we were doing the pieces of the data, but we hadn't gotten to that. So now we have that. I want to share a little bit. I can do that. Do you need that angle? You have it on? What you don't see on the top is the kindergarten because it wasn't there when that chart was made, but we have 43 students, or 61% of our students in kindergarten that are now on grade level. So you'll see that when we started the year that we only had 13% of our kindergartners that were on grade level. So to think about that kind of growth in one semester is huge for us. Mary Colt, who has been a teacher at Southview for 6 years, shared with us that she has never been where our growth was in the high quadrant of growth. So all of our schools this year are in that high quadrant of growth, all of our elementary schools, and we're really excited about that. Chelsea Barber, who has been at Southview also for 6 years and echoes the same sentiment. She said, this year we're having deep conversations about students learning and helping to understand the weaknesses and improve those weaknesses through iReady and specifically our CKLA curriculum. One of our other 5th grade teachers shared that she had an average growth of 113%. So the chart that you'll see on the far right, when you see that red, that's actually a place that we want to see red. And so it's very exciting when you think about that chart over on the far right is students who were 2 or more grade levels to start the year behind. So 2 or more grade levels behind. And that number shows a decrease. So overall, for example, our 54% for our 5th graders, 54% of our 5th graders moved up at least 1 grade level. But when you'll see that chart you'll look at, we're down 7% of our 5th graders who are 2 or more grade levels below, meaning that in one semester, we moved our 5th graders up 2 or more grade levels. Like, we're so excited about this. Like, we could just talk about it all night, but I'll try not to because Mr. Williams talked about it being a little foggy tonight. But it was really fun to be able to see some of the specific growth, and our children now are talking about that. Tony, who's in 5th grade, if you meet him, he would be glad to tell you that he graded over 100 points in his iReady score. Over 100 points in one semester. And so if you ask if CKLA is working, we would be glad to show you number after number to tell you that absolutely this is working. Also a little bit about our iRead history in 3rd grade. So 2 years ago, in the middle of the year, our predictive score for iReady, which tells us students that we expect will pass iRead, was 38% in the middle of the year. Last year, that number was 44% mid-year. This year, that number is 52.9%. So we've grown about 10% per year, but 10% last year. So when we finish the summer, which is the score that really matters, when we've done summer school for iRead, our score was about 68% passing. When we think about, we're already 10% higher than we were this time last year, think about what that number means for us in the summer. And then just to think a little bit about, and she can stop me in a second. Davis is good about nudging me, but but just to think a little bit about, there's a reason she's here, right? To think about what's made a difference for us. So CKLA, you've heard a lot about this year. That's obviously made a difference, but also our intervention. And so you'll hear from our students later when I ask them, the question that we'll ask you to share with the board tonight is, how is reading different? And all of them talk about intervention being different, our reading lab, that there are specific things that are happening during the day to help them learn. And so we see that with our literacy cadre that we're involved in and our intervention. But we want to thank you all for providing us specific staff members who are coming in and helping us with the intervention piece. So that has been a huge difference for us. When Ms. Davis and I came last year, we also talked about, we want to make sure that school, while we're learning a lot, obviously started there, but we want to make sure that we're bringing joy into the building as well. So how do we do that? How do we make school fun? As we look at increasing our attendance for students and staff, how do we make sure that school is a joy to come to as well? So we've increased the number of field trips significantly this year. Every grade level has already had at least one, and they will have a second field trip in the second semester. So family nights, we had our fall festival this year, which was a huge success. We served over 600 hot dogs and meals, and it was packed, and all of our staff came. So convocations every month for perfect attendance and student of the month winners, and then special days, and then our favorite friend Merlin came with us tonight too. He wanted to visit with you as well, but we are thankful that we were able to have him join us every day as well. And he goes home very tired, but you can see some pictures of field trips. They've been to the Children's Museum and to the Indianapolis Zoo, and some of our students were telling us that they had not been out of the city. So for us to move them out of the city into the big place has been really fun. Even those bus rides, while exhausting, are a great day for the kids.
Okay. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Just next slide. To get started, we looked at changes for Southview that would help increase student and teacher attendance. Dr. Casey talked about field trips. Our students had, like she said, has not been outside of the city. And so they were really excited to be able to go on trips. And so that's one of the things that's helped increase our student attendance. We also have attendance wars. And so if you have really great attendance, you get to participate in our attendance games. So when we have student of the month and attendance of the month, we have races and games and kids get to compete. We also give them great prizes. When we look at our teachers improving their attendance, we have Spirit Weeks, of course. We know that's something that everybody does, but we also play games during the day a little bit, not always, but here and there you might have a turkey in your pocket. And so you might say, do you have a turkey in your pocket? And so you collect all the turkeys, and whoever has the most turkeys or a turkey, at the end of the day, you get to come down and get a prize. So we did things like that around Thanksgiving, and really just loving on our teachers and appreciating them and giving them the accolades that they really do deserve. When we look at improved student data, Dr. Casey talked a lot about data, so I won't bore you guys with that. But I will say that we have worked really diligently with our students in knowing how to improve their data and what's necessary for them to be able to move forward. When we look at Writing Cafe, that's something that we've been working on for iLearn. When Dr. Casey and I came to Southview, writing was something our students really struggle with. So we've been doing writing in the cafe twice a month now. And so basically a teacher will have a lesson that she teaches all of the students, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. We do it separate days, but they come to the cafe and we pull the old writing prompts and kids write to those prompts. Our kids had no stamina. You know, they would get tired. They could only write a paragraph, or they would only write a couple of sentences. And so we worked on building their stamina and their capacity for writing. And so now they are writing 3 or 4 paragraphs, and we have teachers who walk around and help those students with their writing. I mean, how else, what other better way to help kids other than actively in the moment? And so when our kids are writing and they feel like they're stuck or they're struggling, they raise their hand, we have an adult come over and help. And so that's been very good for all of our students. Another thing we've done is professional development and teachers having fun. Right now, we're working on test talks, and we will be having professional development during our PLC and our half day on test talks, teaching our kids about their own data, which they already work on some, but encouraging them about their data, telling them, okay, I see you had a 485. It'll only take 10 more points for you to get a 495, which puts you in the green as opposed to yellow. So if you're red, yellow, green, blue, you can move up a step, which has been very beneficial. And our teachers are getting really excited about talking to students about their own data and how they can do better. We also do things during our professional development like paper, rock, scissors to get that, get that adrenaline flowing, get them moving, get them excited. And the teachers have been very engaged and excited about those things. Clubs we have, when Dr. Casey and I came to Southview, we didn't have very many clubs. So now we have a writing club, we have a robotics club, and we just love the Muncie Civic Theater comes out. They bring all of the dress up, they have them do their lines, they have them work on a play that they then produce downtown at the theater. And so that's been really, really great for our kids, an experience I don't think they would ever have if it were not for the Muncie Civic Theater. And so we're really excited about that. And we have also worked on decreasing suspensions. That's been big for us. Some of the things that we've done to decrease suspensions, we've done restorative justice with our students, of course, but we also work with our BCs. Our behavior coaches work with individual kids. We give them all plans and we work on strategies to help them. When Casey Smitherman gets upset, now she has a toolbox to refer to on what she should do during that time. Instead of blowing up, getting very angry, what can I do differently? How can I make sure that I'm doing what's necessary for me not to be suspended or not to hurt myself or others? Thank you.
But we also wanted you to hear from the really important people here. So we just gave them one question, and the floor is open, and we shared with them. And many of them have seen you already, so they kind of know how this goes. But Ramanta, you said you wanted to start. So we just asked them, how is reading different for you this year?
Reading is very different for me this year, because in like 4th grade, I didn't know how to really spell. But ever since they had, what is it again? Intervention reading, I've been getting better every day since. And after that is, no, in the morning, it's math. I've been doing good in math. I'm a straight A student sometimes. I mean,
Okay.
sometimes I had C's, but I got him back up.
That's fantastic.
Reading has helped me because last year I didn't really know how to read. Every time I really read in front of people, I would stutter a lot. And now since we have intervention, they have had us read a lot of books, and I can read in front of people now. And I'm better at spelling than I was last year, and I can write better. And they have these math groups sometimes, and they've been able to help me because they have like a lot of sheets that they have us do, and they'll help you, and it's really.
What's your favorite book that you like? You like to read. So what's your favorite book?
I like comics. I like Spider-Man comics and stuff.
Okay.
It's like action.
Action. Okay. Thank you. Hey, Mayor Muncie.
My name
Mayor
is
Muncie,
my name
South-
is
South-
Javante,
aka Mayor of Southview. If y'all don't know,
Aren't you on
yeah,
the
that
wall?
beautiful young man is me. Yeah, I do look good, but what's really helping me spelling? I wasn't too good at. I was not the best speller, but now writing cafe done helped everybody so much. I'm pretty sure they can all spell. People would like the staffs will walk around and help you, like, but when you get help, it help you like more of you understanding it for when you really want to make your paragraphs or do that or do this in class because hey, we got to do a lot in class. I think we should have a typing cafe at this point because we got to type and then do that. But yeah, that's all I got to say.
What was the hardest word? What was the hardest word you ever had to spell?
Integrity.
Can you spell it today?
INTERG.
Sound it out. Start over. Start over. Integrity.
NTY. No. INTERG.
Integ.
ER.
Integ. Integ. IN.
INTH.
Write it down.
Write it down.
Well, Javante, we know when you run for mayor for the city of Muncie, you will have integrity.
Yes,
You're good.
You want to share?
Come on, Miss Cece.
Hello, my name is Cece, and one thing that helped me reading with stuff is probably because every single time that I tried to write, I would always mess up and have to erase a million trillion times. And since we had the writing cafe, it helps me a lot more better with my paragraphs.
Thank you, Cece.
Thank you.
Thank you, Javante. Just for the record, he's got it and showed it to the board.
Hello, my name is Kaleli, and why reading is different for me this year is because we read bigger books this year than last year. I used to have to read like really small books because I couldn't read that well. And this year I can read big books because I learned a lot of words.
Wonderful. So, while we have you all up here, what was your favorite field trip? Favorite field trip?
My favorite field trip was when we went to the zoo in
The zoo?
Indianapolis.
In Indianapolis. And what did you see at the zoo that you just loved?
I really liked the snakes and the seals and stuff that we saw.
Wonderful.
And you know, I really like that you use full sentences when you're asked a question. You could have just said the zoo, but you gave us a complete sentence.
That was wonderful.
That is fabulous.
To that one place where it was old.
Connor Prairie?
Yeah. My favorite field trip was when we went to Connor Prairie because there was a lot of old stuff there.
That's fantastic. I love Connor Prairie. So, Javante, what was your favorite field trip?
It was the Ivy Tech downtown. They basically told us about like bugs and what bugs we could eat and can't eat and all that. It was really disgusting. Best believe me. I had to rip the sucker out just to get the bug out. I could not understand that bug in it. I seen people eat it with beetles in it, ate the bug. It was just, but it was interesting. It was cool to know. So yeah.
That's good. Anybody else want to tell me about their field trip?
He spelled it.
Well, you could come. What was your second favorite one? The zoo. Cece?
My favorite field trip was Indianapolis Zoo.
And what'd you love to see at the zoo?
Probably the birds.
The birds. And what did, and I've forgotten, Avante? Ramante. What was your favorite thing at the zoo? Yeah. So my favorite is the otters. I love the sea otters. Are you guys all having a good year otherwise?
Yes, I haven't got to see all year.
Yay. Is there anything that you would like to see at Southview that you don't have?
Y'all should have not never got me started. Oh, y'all didn't mess up. So, first thing I want to do a no bullecy a no bullecy thing because a policy because I seen a lot of people get bullied. I did not like it, and I'm pretty sure other people don't like it because you gotta think about it. What would you do if you was in their shoes?
Okay, so
Definitely
no
this year.
bullying policy.
You can ask.
I would like for Southview to add more sports than they already have because they do have fun sports and all, but I want them to have more stuff that we could do, like football or wrestling or something like that.
Okay. Cece or?
One thing I want them to change this year is to add more toys to the gym, because every time I go in gym, we do the same thing every time.
And what do you do in the gym?
Play soccer and baseball, not baseball, but basketball.
Did you do volleyball?
Yeah.
I forgot to add this is about gym. But we do the same exercises and the same activities mostly every day. Well, not every day, every time we go to gym. And I would like for them to add like more activities that we can do for fun, because there's a lot of arguing fights that go on when we play some of the activities, and I would just like for us like have more activities because I feel like that's why.
Do you do arm circles? That gym teacher's been doing that for 100 years.
I will say, on the way here, we talked about, we're adding a roller skating unit this spring,
Okay.
and so we'll have 3 weeks of roller skating, and so we were talking about the roller skating. Yeah,
Okay.
bowling, yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. And we are just very, very happy with what's happening at Southview.
We have one more who wants to share what he'd like.
Oh, you have, okay.
I think this year we should change the basketball courts and the basketballs.
Outside?
Yep.
Okay, so Mr. Jerome's keeping notes for you. Javante, do you have something else?
Yeah, it's a lot of kids who get bullied once again for not having clothes or raggedy shoes or anything like that. I think we on like basketball games, I think we should have a little snack booth outside of it. Raise a little bit of money for people who need it or families who need help or anything like that.
Thank you, that's very thoughtful. Thank you. So just a moment, on behalf of the board, Dr. Smithman, Ms. Davis, thank you for the work that you're doing. It's clearly moving things in the right direction, and we are very, very pleased. So if there's anything you need that's not being provided, let us know, and we'll.
I will say that I've been in this profession for many years. I keep telling the kids I'm only 21, but it's been a few years. And so I would just say that this has been the joy of my lifetime. So I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
I mean, you all done an amazing job. So my question is about like parent engagement. Like, what are parents saying, feeling, suggesting? I just want to know where.
So so when we look at parent engagement, we have parents who are really excited about the direction we're going in. They are excited at the fact that we're moving the needle in the right direction. Parent engagement, we had our big, like Dr. Casey said, carnival in October, but also when we have our big idea nights, we do engaging things with the parents to make sure that they're there and enjoying that time. It's not just well, I'm gonna show up and get food, or I feel away because I have to go there and get food. It's also connected with other activities so that our parents can come and for lack of a better word, keep their dignity and feel really good about being there. We do have parents who feel very comfortable with calling, and if they're upset or if they're concerned, they let us know. They're comfortable to call us to pick up their kids. Before our kids would just stay home, but now they'll call and say, well, you know, my son needs a ride to school, my car's not working, or it's snowing and I don't have a way to get him to school. They usually walk. My daughter has asthma. You know, they literally are in a place where they feel very comfortable about Southview being a hub for them to come to.
Thank you.
I will also say, so 2 years ago, the Schaefer Leadership Academy with Mitch and Pastor Neil and a group of them started that project to increase parent engagement. And that included meetings that followed a meal and meetings that followed after the big idea night. But what we found, it was the same small group of folks. And so we didn't feel like we were moving the needle. And so we've had a lot of conversations over the course of this year about what's a better way to focus that. And so what we found with that big idea night is if you make it fun, then they come in. People don't want a meeting. They don't want another meeting. But we started with the big crunch, and that was such a success. And so then they had hot chocolate. Our choir has sung at some of those events. The chocolate one was a huge hit. And so each time now trying to find what's that fun activity that we've decided that music has to happen in every big idea night. You know, so it's those kind of experimental things. Some of that money, instead of providing the meal and the meeting, now is being focused for the fall festival or another event like that to give our parents. A lot of them don't have the ability to have a night out with their kids. So to be able to have the fall festival was completely free. They went home with tons of junk prizes and full bellies and happy night. And so to be able to provide that for our families has been huge. And it's just it's a feel good night for everybody to feel good about what's happening when you come to school. And that's been our move. Thank you.
So remind me of the therapy dog's name.
Merlin.
So would it be okay if we had Merlin and your students and all of you in a photo for Mr. Klotz to take? So you can come on up. Yeah, everybody.
And while they're gathering, I also wanted to recognize that Sean is mentoring our new assistant principals. And so she meets monthly with them. And, you know, so it's someone who has a lot of experience in the same role. And we really appreciate your leadership in helping others in our district.
Why don't we have all of you come in front of us here so we get a clear photo, and we will feature Merlin.
He loves to be the center.
So
I wonder what had happened where he was.
Yes, boss.
Oh, yes.
He's doing it. He turned his head. He's a photo op.
But can you scrunch together a little bit more with maybe Dr. Casey, Sean back? Yeah. Great. Oh, yeah, that's good. All right, Merlin, check it out over here. 3, 2, 1. One more. 3, 2, 1. All right.
So then, also following up, please convey to your teachers and your staff our deep appreciation for the work that they're doing. There is no more important work, and we are very, very, very gratified by the report we've received this evening.
We would love to stay for the rest of your meeting, but these boys have basketball practice at the Ross Center, so.
So, understood. Thank you so
very
much.
Thank you.
Have a good day, y'all.
I'm gonna be his manager when he runs for mayor, okay? He's gonna win.
Might be a landslide.
Thank you, Merlin.
Took a lot of courage for the kiddos to get up in front of us.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Now the fun's over.
Well, that's fantastic. We're on to the consent agenda. We have those matters in front of us. I'd like to recognize two retirements. Tamara Bell and Natalia Lewis combined have given service of 55 years to MCS and are retiring. So I want to thank them for their service. Any additional items that would need to be highlighted from the consent agenda? Hearing none, would entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Hear a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, we'll show the consent agenda passed. We have the employee handbook.
I think you need to back up.
Are you that?
Number 3.
I am so sorry.
It's okay. I'm just sitting here enjoying all this.
I am so sorry. Well, we'll go ahead and show the consent agenda approved unless you have something you want to add.
No, absolutely.
So we will go back to number 3. I was just so tickled by Southview that my eyes glazed down.
I'm gonna see how she tops that.
Well, and that's what, after seeing the Southview presentation, I thought, let's just skip me because that's the best place to end. But I do want to recognize that tonight is it's actually a month, Board Appreciation Month. And we all feel such gratitude for this board, for how you selfishly give your time and your devotion to Muncie Community Schools. And I just cannot thank you enough for all that you do. Everywhere I go and they ask me about the Muncie Community School Board, I just let them know that there is not a better board in the nation. And David Day agrees with me. And so there you go. That's official.
Thank you.
We had Lily Endowment yesterday, spent the entire morning at Grissom Elementary School, and we couldn't have been any prouder of the presentation from Brittany Charles, from Ramed with City Connects, who's our family navigator, and then we had the literacy coach, Jen Joslin, from Grissom, but we also asked Angela Butler, who's at EWA, and Amy Heath, who's at Southview, to talk a little bit about the work they're doing with the literacy cadre and our CKLA reading adoption. And they said that they didn't have as many folks that were able to come from Lilly Endowment, but they've invited me to go and to share more with more folks back in Indy someday. So that was fabulous. Mark your calendars. Next week, January 30th, your ribbon cutting. You have an invitation, so remember that. At Westview, we're proud of all of our projects. Today, Dia brought the Muncie Education Foundation together for the first time. Mark, I appreciate that you're serving on the Education Foundation. We really believe that this could be a game changer for having folks be able to contribute in significant ways for Muncie, for us to be able to do some big projects. So we're early on. It will take us a while to work through all the details and the policies, but Dia's really done a remarkable job of raising her hand and saying, I like to learn and grow. I'll take on this project. And she's really brought together our first meeting, and we have officers and everything, so that's great. Tomorrow, we have a process check at Grissom, unless we have a fog delay. This weather has not been good for us, has it? And then on Thursday, we have the BSU convening, where we're going, a team of us from Muncie are meeting with a lot of different faculty from Ball State University, just providing an update on some of our accomplishments as well as some of our programs. And that will help BSU faculty know how they can connect in our schools. So we're excited about that. And I have to give a shout out then for the North Side Invitational. Our Southside Middle School won the 7th grade championship, and Northside Middle School won the 8th grade basketball championship. And so we're really proud of our teams. And we just see that, boy, we're going to have some winning basketball teams. State championships is what we're planning in the future, right, Chuck? So that's it for me, unless anyone has any questions.
I do not have anything. That 7th grade team at Southview, I've seen them play a few times, and they are really, really good.
And I think the 8th grade team at Northside, they are also very, very good.
So it's, yeah, bright. So, any questions for Dr. K that I tried to so unceremoniously?
And if I may also add, Jim, you may need to bring this on to see if you can add an action item. In our meeting today with the Muncie Education Foundation, for Dia to serve as one of the directors on that, the board needs approval. And so for us to be able to have the board approve that Dia would be the one that we assign to that, if you can add that.
Give me the correct wording on the agent or the committee.
Yes.
Muncie what?
Muncie Education Foundation, and Dia, pardon me?
Muncie Community School Education Foundation.
Okay, Muncie Community School Education Foundation,
And
and you would serve as the director/liaison.
And is that going to live under the community foundation?
No, it's a separate
Separate.
503C,
Okay.
501.
501.
We need Dia to do the talking with us.
Well, if you knew the tax code, I would be concerned. So, Brad should know the tax code. Okay.
Thank you, Brad. Help me out.
Is there any objection to adding this as an action item to the agenda? Any board member have an objection?
I move to approve, we add it.
Okay. We have a motion by Mr. Lowe to approve. We have a second. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, Cindy, we will show that as an added action item during Dr. K's presentation.
Okay.
Approved by the board.
And who is the second?
Dr. O'Neill.
Dr.
Okay, thank you. We approved the consent agenda, and we're on to the employee handbook. I assume we have some minor changes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We have updated the employee handbook, Muncie Community School Employee Handbook, which is designated to provide employees with important information regarding employment policies, procedures, and benefits, as well as employee-employer responsibilities. This covers all of our employees with teachers, support staff, and administrators. I believe you all received a copy with the red line, just outlining with the date, with the page numbers, communication, employee ethics. Once it was adopted as policy that you all have adopted previously, it's now added to our employee handbook on page 10 under employee ethics. Under the official closing, under where there's a 2-hour delay, we have added other office staff, including student assistant coordinators and our family navigators. Previously, you all had approved that teachers, staff members cannot take off the day prior to holiday or fall break, spring break, winter break. Now that we are extending our school year past Memorial Day, we're including prior to or the day after Memorial Day. Also adding bereavement. It was a recommendation from a staff member that in special situations and to extend our policy, our handbook has said that 7 days you can take 5 days for a parent or a child or someone that lives in your household within 7 business days. Well, due to like having to move people, move out the home, or having to maybe travel or take care of some businesses if you are caring for a parent that passed or a child that passed or person within your home. It has been brought to our attention by an employee that if that was flexible and say within a 30-day period, but that would require special request by the CEO or her designee for that to be approved. And we already do ask for obituaries when people are using those bereavement days, and so that would continue. We also added another policy that the board had approved, changes to comply with FMLA. So we put it in there, but our FMLA is current, but if it changed before our next time of changing our employee handbook, the bottom statement says, there are any changes to the federal law, Muncie Community Schools will comply with the federal law on FMLA. And then also policy 0300 on alcohol and controlled substance policy was also added on page 38. And those are the updates or the additions to our handbook.
Any questions regarding the updates to the handbook?
I'm just curious, who monitors the FMLA for the school system?
That would be
Bless your
myself
heart.
and our administrative assistants in that
It is.
office.
It's a nightmare. Okay, thank you.
It's
a total nightmare.
it's very difficult.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Any additional questions? Would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
Okay, we have a motion from Mr. Irvin, a second from Ms. Barnes Griffin. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. Course of study handbook at the middle school.
Great, thanks. I have 2 items for you tonight for approval. The first item is the middle school course of study. Really minor changes to the book this year, but a few substantive changes I'd like to ask for. Planning for college and career, that was an opportunity for students to earn that credit in middle school. Now it will be a requirement for kids, so that they will all be able to have that course in middle school and earn that credit before they go to high school. So we made that change reflective in that schedule rotation. And we just added the 6th grade to the summary instead of putting all those in there. We just showed you what it would look like in 6th grade course of, in the 6th grade schedule opportunities. The second one is Spanish 2. Spanish 2 may be a possibility for some of our dual language students that we rolled into the middle school this year. So they're taking Spanish right now, so they'll have the opportunity to take 2nd year Spanish for high school credit at the middle school. Not mandatory yet, but if they're ready for that, we wanted to make sure that was in the course of study guide, so they would have that opportunity. So that opportunity was communicated to everybody. And then finally, biology 1 and 2 for high school credit. That is another opportunity for our kids to get ahead of the game before they get to high school and earn their biology 1 and 1-2 credit at the middle schools.
Okay. Any questions regarding the middle school course of study?
Remind me, when you add these courses, how do you address the teachers, the need for the teacher? Does this come with needing to add teachers, or do they just take on more load?
Our teachers generally have licenses, multiple licenses. So if you have, if you're science, you're licensed in different areas.
That's it. Typically, it's 7 through 12 is the typical.
For a secondary license.
It doesn't add more load to the teachers, though.
No, because instead of those students being in maybe the 8th grade science, they're in that freshman biology course.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Any additional questions? So not to strain at gnats, but the Southside logo, is that?
I don't know why yours turned out like that. Ours, the color version, I don't know why yours turned out
it's
like
because
that.
I don't have a
So
color.
yeah, no, it looks good. It's Andy approved.
Okay, so I'm just
I don't know why it turned out that way.
one thing of mine going, That doesn't seem right, does it?
When you
Okay.
download it as a PDF, it does. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Word, I put PDF.
yeah, and the
Okay.
PDF comes out as a document. Mine did.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. I just was curious. Thank you for dispelling my.
It's kind of cool though. It's got that highlight red.
Yeah,
dark background.
yeah, it's neat. I like it a lot, if I could see it. So,
You need a motion to
I
approve.
do need a motion.
You got it.
Okay, I need a second. Second. Been moved and second. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Okay. The high school curriculum handbook.
So, unlike last year, we had several changes last year to the handbook, a much lighter change this year. Just a couple of new courses, English as a new language, which is a new course for credit that we'll be offering to our newcomer students at the high school. And then a new career path that Caleb and his team have been working on creating a CTE dealing in HVAC. So really excited about that growth opportunity for our students and a great experience for our kids and for certification and licensure.
Okay. So,
And the summary of changes are attached to you.
yeah. Anybody have any questions regarding the changes to the high school curriculum? Would entertain a motion?
So moved.
Have a motion? Do I hear a second?
Second.
Moved and second. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Post same sign. Okay. Thank you. Two questions in dialogue of the board. One, the state legislature this past summer, which I know we're all aware of, has mandated statutorily a countywide security committee. Has that been formed and?
Yeah, so we were fortunate enough that we had a countywide safety commission that John Catino takes the lead on, and that team is comprised, was already comprised of a school safety specialist at each district and or the superintendent or designee, in addition to representatives from the Muncie Police Department, from probation and the Delaware County Sheriff's Department. We're all part of that team already. So earlier this year, after the legislation was passed, we went and had a conversation with them about adding the new legislation said that we had to have a representative from the prosecutor's office and
Judicial representative.
judicial representation. So I believe we have those names and John has reached out to those folks about getting on.
Okay. So I relayed that I had received a call from somebody at the prosecutor's office, and I returned that call and left a message that John was going to be reaching out.
It was, I feel like that team was in place and established, so it was a smooth transition to meet those requirements.
And then obviously, would you give me a heads up when there's an actual meeting scheduled so that we can? Sure.
We have a breakout session, I think, this week or next week. Just real quick.
Okay.
We have an active shooter subcommittee meeting this week, so I'm sure it's not the full team, but it's at 10 a.m.
Okay, thank you.
Thursday.
Thank you. And then you may have seen in Dr. Kay's report, we're looking at May 8th for a State of the Schools address at Southside Middle School. That will be commencing at 6:00 p.m. with refreshments, presentation, I think,
7 o'clock.
7. And we've lined up certain parts of it. The university is participating actively. So that will be an event that I think if you're in town, please plan on attending. Should be a good event with lots of good things to report. Is there anything else? Anybody else have anything?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to Muncie Community Schools for your support of all of the MLK events that took place the 13th through Monday the 15th. Thanks to Chuck and Dr. Bell and doctors all over the place. Miss Ward for just what she's done for our community and proud of our students and all that they did. And it was great to see all the citizenship kids walking across the stage. We did you well. Mr. Jim.
Thank
Took
you.
care.
Thank you.
Chuck did great, stepping in.
Thank you. I appreciate it. My father-in-law appreciated it.
And my mother appreciated it. And unfortunately, in the first weekend in February, Rhonda said, Leanne, are you available the first weekend in February for the student essays? I said, that's one of my favorite days, absolutely. And then I went back and I thought, oh, we had to postpone Christmas until she was healthy enough for us all to get together, and it's that first weekend in February. So I was like, oh, sorry, Rhonda.
It's all good.
So we were going to have a group and you had, Latasha texted me. Did you get that lined up?
Yes, the minority educators choral. So yes, for February's first board meeting in February, yeah, they'll come and perform.
Okay.
We'll talk to Dr. Yeah.
They are going to perform. Good.
Just open us up, I think.
Um,
Thank you.
Yes. Anything else? Anybody else have any groups they want to bring in? We have robotics, and they're off to state, I guess, right?
Yeah, 200 robots are qualifying. That's in March. So it's state. So that's ongoing from the south side. They won last weekend.
Okay.
That's great.
Good deal.
So if we could get them on the agenda sometime after that event, that would be good. Anybody else? Okay. Do we have any media inquiries this evening? We need to get President Mearns a copy of his poster.
Oh, well, I'll be happy to do that.
I can give that to you when you.
I'll be happy to take it over there too.
Yeah. I told him about it and he was anxious.
We'll have to make sure he has a frame also, Andy.
Okay.
So also at some point before, I don't know when, but the 7th grade and 8th graders in our middle school, I would love to be able to like celebrate them a little bit. They have done some pretty good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about that.
Figure out
Maybe
how
if we at least, could we start with, I don't know, do you want to give it some thought?
Give it some thought. Will do.
Figure out what group, you would want to have come over. My initial reaction was one which is probably too narrow, which was the 7th grade, the basketball teams that had the tournament. But if we can find something that's maybe a little broader, we can do both.
We can do it. We can figure it out.
So you deliver that picture to President Mearns? Let him know I'll send my carpenters over to hang it next to his ping pong table.
I will do that.
I went up on him. He got me today.
Okay, with that, entertain, unless there's anything additional that anybody wants to visit about, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Post same sign. Thank you all. Have a nice evening.
Jim, enjoy share.
It should be a good show. Problem is, it lasts till 10. I go to bed at 8.